Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Rogues Gallery Live. Happy Wednesday night, everybody. Like I said, this is Chris the Batman Statue Collector. Welcome back once again to Rogues Gallery Live. This is episode number 153. We had a show last week. We did our auction show. Thank you, everybody that tuned in for that. But we have a very special guest. That's why we're doing it a week later again. So I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. We have our very special guest, Mr. Chad Colebank from Tweeterhead, joining us tonight. How's it going, sir?
Good. Except I don't know why I look pink. I look like I'm being lit by like pink lights here.
It's all the special mood lighting we bring on Rogues Gallery Live here.
That's right. That's right.
we spare no expense.
All your gels are all over.
That's right. We also have Mr. Eric B from All Things Art joining us tonight. How's it going, Eric?
Doing good. Good to see everybody.
Great that you're here. This guy right back in the United States. We got Jeff Delaney from Secret Sanctuary. How was your trip, sir?
It was good, except for the 2 days I got sick. But otherwise, it was an amazing European adventure. Had a great time.
Did you have food poisoning or what?
My wife thinks I had COVID, but it was only 2 days, so I don't know. But the symptoms were similar. But yeah, 2 days completely flat in our hotel. So I completely missed Venice. My family had a great time in Venice while I was suffering in the hotel.
That's my favorite place in Italy.
Yeah. But a great times in Austria, Switzerland, Germany. We had a really good time. It was awesome.
Did you get to Cinque Terre?
Dude, I had a what?
Did you get to Cinque Terre? That's that place I told you about with the 5 towns.
I'm sorry, I did not.
No, that's
next
time. All
right.
I thought that cleared up.
That's right.
Cinque sorry, dumb joke. Yeah, that's why I said it's a good thing I'm not a comedian.
Hey, a little Italian joke. Never hurt anybody, right? That's right.
That's right.
Anyway, welcome back. I'm glad that you're here. Anyway, we're really excited to have Chad on once again. We had a conversation about, kind of what's been going on with the statue collecting community, whether it's good or bad. And so we thought we would have kind of a town hall tonight. Chad is here. He wants to answer your questions. We have him for about 30-40 minutes. And then he has some other things to go to tonight, but I'm so glad that he had time to come on our show tonight and again, kind of, address kind of what's been going on with the statue collecting community, because as a lot of us we've talked about on the show before, there has been a lot of ups and downs in the last couple years. The excitement has kind of come and gone at times as well. And I think a lot of that has to do with the economy and just kind of the way things are going. People are not able to buy as much as they used to, but there's still a lot of really great collectibles out there. And again, I have to tip my hat to Chad for, in this particular economy, coming up with something really fun in these busts. And again, I can't tell you how excited I am that you're doing those.
That chime was me sending you money.
Oh, I like that. I like it. Anyway, so I'm going to be monitoring the chat tonight, guys. If there's questions that you have, try to keep it as positive as possible. I know sometimes people can get upset about certain things, but we're going to try to have a real honest conversation tonight about kind of the state of the hobby and kind of how Tweeterhead fits in all of that. So Chad, you want to kind of give us started on something, like whatever you want to talk about first?
Yeah, totally. So, when Chris and I first talked about this, it was called like Ask Me Anything, but don't ask me anything, but ask me anything related to Tweeterhead, please.
Yeah.
But no, like Chris, if somebody has questions, if something isn't positive, like let's get it out there. Like, this is way easier than answering emails or, texts or, the way we interpret things. Like the way I might send you an email, it's really the way you read it. Right? It might not be exactly the way I send it, and there might be a lot more that I want to say about it. And so, I just want to start off and say last year, Tweeterhead was rocking. Like we delivered 13 products, unique products to people's homes through Sideshow. We didn't do any direct stuff last year at all. We started that again, this year, but we were just rocking. And then things got a little bit slower. And it really is a product of how the whole industry is going. But I just got to be super clear that like, I'm just speaking for me. Can you guys still hear me? Because you froze.
Yes. Yeah. We can
Okay.
hear you just fine. Yeah.
Okay. Like I'm just speaking for me. I'm not speaking for any other company, any other, forwarder that gets containers for people. This is just Chad, Tweeterhead, my little team, Dave and Lauren and a couple other people. But it's been just a little bit of a challenging year. And I hate to be staggered here, but we're frozen. Are you guys not frozen?
No, we can see you just fine. It might be maybe your Wi-Fi there where you're at, maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Well, as long as it's good. So it's been like a challenging year, and it has a lot to do with just the whole, like what we're dealing with right now is basically the number one issue that is happening now is getting containers, and it's just like it was during COVID a couple of years ago. It's super difficult. There are fewer containers available, which means that they are, at times auctioning them off. They go to the highest bidder. The highest bidder is definitely on Tweeterhead. And I mean, to get a 20-foot container, if I can find one here, it's easily 50 or 65% more than it was like 2 years ago.
Wow.
And every month it keeps going up. Like from May to now, it's gone up thousands of dollars.
Do we know why? Do we know why there's so many less containers out there?
I can't answer that because I don't know. All I know is that I think there's a couple of factors. I think the holidays coming up, all of the big box stores need their stuff here now. That's just one of the reasons. I don't know why the amount of containers has been reduced, but if you go to like Google and go to Google News and put in like container shortage, I just did it today, and there's like every day there's like a new CNN article about it and about how much more money it's costing, which then affects our end of the business. So that's like the number one issue we're facing, because like we've got like Two-Face, quarter scale Two-Face, 6 scale Two-Face, quarter scale Wonder Woman.
Those are people. I got thrown off out of nowhere. I was like,
that's so weird. I wonder what's going on. Well, anyway, so I'm sure Chad will pop right back on. Thank you guys very much for having your questions. I'll try to get to as many of them as possible tonight. Hopefully, if we get Chad back, that would be very short and sweet. It's like, well, he said he had 40. He only had 3 minutes. So anyway, it's interesting what he was talking about with the containers, because obviously, if there are less containers and people are basically holding the containers hostage for the highest bidder,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
God, that's going to delay things like crazy.
Sure.
Did we find out? Do you think that's why the Two-Face? Some people are receiving like delay notices. Maybe like only like half of them came across.
Well, actually, I have a little bit of insight into that. So basically, I can confirm, and I think Chad was getting ready to say that. I can confirm that they are on the water, and so I think sometimes messages kind of go out automatically if things aren't in yet. So I think that might be part of the issue, is that, like, I know people got the notice from Sideshow, but it is on the water. And so I would assume, we're talking weeks and not months and months. So,
yeah.
And Sideshow will get theirs approximately the same time that Chad will get his, because it's all coming to California. So, I think that's really exciting news. But again, like like he had made that announcement prior, that he was able to, that those were already shipped. They're already on the water. That's what he was told. And that wasn't the case because of a container issue again. And so he had to wait even longer to get it on the water. And now it is on the water. So it's pretty crazy. So anyway, hopefully we'll get him back here in just a minute. What's going on with you guys?
Not much. Just had a long day. Kind of tired, but
here we go. Let's see if he's back.
Staying awake.
And he's back.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
I'm in a bunker at the moment.
No worries.
Where did I drop out?
Okay, so you were starting to kind of talk a little bit about the pieces that were on the water.
Yeah. So Two-Face, both Two-Faces, quarter scale Wonder Woman, finally. Merman variant, they're on the water. They're going to be here August 8th, which is great news. I mean, but once the ship gets to the dock, like, I don't know how long it's going to take to get it here, but we will be shipping out like the day they get it. I know Sideshow's containers are almost to their Long Beach port, which is great. I know some people had a little bit of a reaction because I put our newsletter out Friday and I was like, hey, great news. Like, this is like, we're ticking this stuff off the list, right? Done. And then an email, I guess, went out and said, they were bumping up the schedule a couple months.
Yeah.
And there was some like not thrilled reactions to that. So, just to be super clear, like, as a distributor, like, they have to also give themselves a little bit of a buffer, right? So if there was, if the ship is in the water at Long Beach and it's the 20th ship to come in, and then there's a strike, it would be great to say, hey, we're going to ship August 15th, but the reality is they could ship December 15th if there's a strike and there's an issue. So that's like our biggest challenge now is basically on the production side. It's basically getting containers. And I think, I said it, but I think I was cut out. It's like for our Batman, He-Man bust, Elvira, like, we're requesting containers like 6 to 8 weeks before we need them. And the scary thing about that is, like, if there's an issue at the factory and there's a delay by a couple days, or God forbid, and it's not just the factory, like the boxes, the people that print the boxes, if there's an issue with the printer and all of a sudden our container is headed to the factory to pick up all of those Batman and he's not ready because there was an issue with the box. We haven't had that happen yet, and I hope it never happens, but I don't know exactly what they do. Like, do they take the container back because I already paid for it? I've already, guaranteed that we'll take it. So that's like that's just logistics. Also, like, to be super duper, like, honest with you guys, with everybody, and this is a discussion I would love, I hope people chime in, we talk about, is, with less pre-orders, way lower edition sizes, like way lower orders, it's gotta translate overseas to the factories. And so where there used to be huge factories.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, are the factories, are they downsized at this point? Like, are they smaller than they were, a year or two ago?
I can't speak for them, but I can tell you that I don't know how they wouldn't be. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when you're doing production runs, like my Skeletor bust of 1,000 pieces, my Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman of thousands of pieces. And then, when we hit like, an edition size of 400, that's considered successful now. One factory in particular, I know, has like 6 ginormous buildings, and the work they have, it could probably be done in one ginormous building. So there's no way that this effect, isn't going to trickle down. And then with, the amount of stuff coming into that factory that's gotten smaller, then they prioritize, who comes first. And so we just have to be, I am learning so much this year. We've got to be super careful with these estimated dates that we would love to have things like our fans.
If there are less factories and there are companies that are prioritized, because again, I think a lot of times people don't always think that you are a small business. You are compared to a lot of the other companies, you are a smaller business. And so a giant corporation might take precedence in a factory over what Tweeterhead's going to have. Yeah. Do you also then have to, like, do they raise their prices on you guys too? Like, is there a bidding war there? And I mean, is all of that trickle down there too?
Yeah. So there's no bidding war. And I think, for the most part, the factories we work with, and I think it shows in our product, which is, if I can pat myself on the back, phenomenal, I think.
Yeah.
They aren't like pushing and pulling like, oh, you've only got 75 of these, this other company has 500 of these, so we're going to push you back. Like, that doesn't happen very often that I know of. Prices have gone up, and there's no way they wouldn't have, right? Because, if we sell 75 doomsday bust, let's just say. To get the printer to print 75 boxes isn't economical for them. So you have to print, 500 or 750 boxes. And, there are minimums. Everyone's got minimums to make their business work. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's just it's just like a name of the game. And so, with these collectibles, there's so much involved. There's like, the statue itself, just getting to that point is a challenge. It's a fun challenge, but it's a challenge. But then there's the printer for the boxes. There's the company that makes the polyfoam, right? That they fit all into. The company that makes the straps, this isn't all done at the factory. They have people they outsource to. So this year it's just been a little bit of a slower pace than we would like. And I think that the community in general is maybe I think everyone's kind of antsy at the moment. And I think that sometimes there's not a lot of stuff and then people get discouraged. And I guess one of the things I wanted to say, being super duper honest, is I've gotten some emails that are are you guys going out of business? Is Tweeterhead going away? Blah, 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 blah. And it's we've been here 13 years. We're not going anywhere. We had a crazy, amazing year last year. We're going to catch up. If I got a time machine and I could just get to the end of August or September, people will be so happy because everything, and this is something I learned too, just showing a picture of a gazillion Two-Face boxes stacked up at the factory, calmed a lot of people down that were like, hey, you took my money and I'm never going to get my statue.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So I think this year, but I think it's challenging for everybody. I think every industry is challenged. I think we're, in, an election year, which is always a kind of touch and go with people, but
It's frozen.
are you discouraged?
Yeah.
Are you still in the game? And just, do you have any questions for me? I think there was something else I wanted to mention. Let me just see. I'm sorry, I've got a little list here, but I guess. Well, so that was the thing. I'd love to open it up and see, are people asking questions? Do people have any things they want to talk about?
Yeah.
Do you, Eric, Jeff, anything?
Yeah. So Jeff Houghton says the anticipated dates are a real problem. Being told Two-Face would ship in February, then April, then May, then June. Quite frankly, it gets ridiculous. And again, I feel like it is always best intentions. It's you guys have a date that the factory says that they could get it done by, but then again, there's factory issues, there's container issues, and that it is frustrating on the collector side of things. But I'm assuming there's not a lot you can do.
You guys, once it gets there really isn't a lot we can do. But as a business owner, the thing that I hate is when somebody says that's out of my control, because I'm a control freak. But there are some things that are out of my control, right? And with Two-Face in particular, the little match, is it going to be plastic? Oh, maybe it doesn't have to be plastic. Maybe it does. There's all these things once they get it and start engineering it on their end. But I agree. We have the best intentions with the dates that we set. I don't want to say, oh, it'll be here. I never want to put something on pre-order and say it'll be here in 2 years. The Wonder Woman quarter scale, I don't want to get into the details, but that is a lot on me. That's the longest piece we've ever had in production. And it's a lesson learned. We won't be repeating that again. But when we put a date out there, I have the best intentions of getting it to you guys. And if you look at last year, that's the part that I'm kind of banging my head against the wall, is there were things last year, within that 8 or 12 month period. But if you want to tell me how ridiculous it is, these dates that we've missed, I am totally here to hear it, because I agree 100%.
Yeah. You're just as frustrated because obviously you want product out.
Yeah, I am. I want to get it to the customers because that's how I make income, right? That's how, once we get it to you guys, that's when, we can also, I like to just kind of put the baby to bed. That's when I can put it away and we keep moving on, down the line. But, what we did in July is I was let's hold up, and Dave agreed, let's hold up, no pre-orders, we need to take a break because I don't want to be like, knocking on your wallet every single month. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Until we can start to deliver this stuff.
I think that was really smart. Again, what he just said was there was no pre-orders on Tweeterhead for the month of July. And that was to give everybody kind of a breather to say, hey, we're trying to get this stuff out to you guys without still cramming new stuff down your throat. However, people do still want to know, like here's a question from KVC 1986. When will the Mr. Freeze bus go up for pre-order? So people still want to know, when things are going to go up for pre-order.
That'll be September. He'll be up in September. He's in paint right now, and we're altering a couple things, but he looks absolutely fantastic. But for us, it's like, everything at the moment, everything except for the Batman bust is in some stage of production at the factory. Like even like Doomsday is being molded and cast. So things are all happening, but also then we also run into a glut too when we have like 9 things at, 3 different factories, and they have all the other stuff going on too. But I think what I want to do is just do something even like this, maybe every quarter, and just be more like communicative with people. And I know we ran into a glut of some customer service emails that we had an issue with our back office. And then, no secrets here, like almost everyone has my cell phone number. I'm the guy that does the customer service at the moment. We just hired a team to do it because it's like we had to, right? I mean, like you said, we're a small business. It's me, Dave, a couple other people. The town that I live in, at the stand at the farmer's market, there are more people that work there than work at Tweeterhead.
Yeah.
So,
here's a question from Dylan. He said, let's talk about the awful customer service on the Tweeterhead site. So again, what Chad is saying here is that they recognize that it is, especially for a small crew of only, what did you say, 3 or 4 people? Like
2 people, really it's me and Dave and like a handful, like 2 other people.
What's crazy is,
but the customer service is me.
Yeah, I see complaints like, Tweeterhead's taking a while to answer emails. But as soon as someone makes that type of post, like on Facebook, Chad answers it like within the same day and says, oh, there must be, maybe something's wrong with the internal system on your website, maybe that, because you're very quick to respond on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and we had an issue where all of the emails were going to junk. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. There's like 4 emails today. There's like 3 emails today. Then, thank goodness for social media, because then people are like, hey, what about me? What about me? What about me?
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, then you go and we fix the issue, but then I went to the junk folder, and then it's like, oh my God, there are like 18 million emails in here. And so then you start like going through them, and you just have to like start to like it's like just taking care of it like one by one, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I think as of Friday last week, like I had personally gone through and answered, I think, everybody. But yeah, I mean, customer service, it's Tweeterhead, or it's the website where you go and fill out the form and send it. And I am the guy that wakes up in the morning and opens up my laptop and starts to look at it. And that, as of the beginning of next month, is going to switch over to a professional team that is going to be in charge of it. Because obviously, like I said, with the whole, or pre-ordering, less orders, smaller edition sizes, how that affects the factory, nothing affects my business like customer service.
Well, and you're the day-to-day guy though. Like, I mean, you have a lot of things that you're logistically trying to take care of. I think the idea of having somebody else help you out is a really great thing, and it'll only improve people's opinion of Tweeterhead. If people have had a negative taste in their mouth because of delay of getting back to them. So I think that's going to be a really great change for how people perceive Tweeterhead.
Yeah. And I think I think the thing is like when someone sends an email, it gets thrown into junk, they don't hear back from me, then they start to like worry, because they maybe have paid in full for a $600,000 statue, right? What's happening with the company, and it's not just the collectible industry, but there's a lot of industries where people are going out of business and people kind of just disappear. And I think that, that's a legitimate fear that people can have about small companies, right? So I hope we've turned the tide. I hope so.
Well, and again, like I just feel like we talked a bit earlier. I mean, we've talked a couple times about this. Is like the statue collecting. There's no other really industry like it.
No.
There's just nothing anywhere close. Like, I mean, you could maybe some toys, but like toys, it's just statue collecting and the way, the weights, and it's just so different than just about any other thing out there. And so I would imagine that's what leads to frustrations as well. But again, you're just as frustrated whenever you can't get your stuff.
Yeah. And I think we've figured a plan out. I think we have a plan in place, and I'd love to talk about it next time once it works. But I think we have a plan in place to get stuff reduced instead of like a year down to like 6 months, maybe. If the container situation works the way it should work, I think we have borrowing from an expert, company. I think we have a plan to deliver stuff a lot faster.
Absolutely.
Going forward. But like you said, I mean, what other, and a couple other things I'm just going to throw out there is like, what other thing do we order that we wait a year for? Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but then the part for me, and to be very frank with everybody that's listening, this year alone and the end of last year, I've never seen more cancellations in my life. I mean, you will do an edition of 500 pieces, and sometimes there are 120 cancellations. Sometimes the day after someone purchases something, they're like, "Oh shit!"
So can you honestly tell us, like, how does that affect you as a small business?
Yeah, crazy. Are you kidding? I mean, yeah, when you're looking at like $27,000 in refunds, it's like crazy. But and of course too, because a lot of that money already went to the factory for the deposit, for the the payments that go along the way as they're making stuff. So it's kind of devastating. So
you just simply cannot take hit after hit like that. It's it's crazy.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's hard, and I think again, like everything's connected, right? So if I release a Batman statue and 3 months later someone pre-ordered it, we always try to release the best stuff we possibly can, right? So if we release a Batman statue and then 3 months later, it's in production at the factory, and then another company X comes out and they release their Batman statue, and people are like, "Oh shoot, I like that one better. I'm just going to cancel this one." And I think, it's no fault of theirs, because the policy is you can cancel for any reason you want. But the problem is we've never had 85 people cancel over the course of like 2 months.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then what it does is it affects my numbers at the factory, because I'm like, oh my God, we have 85 extras that are coming that I used to know we could unload, but now they kind of, now, and then you, again, if you keep pushing this whole narrative forward, then, we can't really put them on sale because someone's like, I bought them at full price because I wanted it. Yep. So it's just it's this cycle, but there's no other industry like this one. And that's why it's so special. That's why it's so unique. It's a waiting game, right?
Are some people wanting their deposit back also? Like, I would think that would be even worse, it's like,
yeah. Some people but also like, I'm super easy. It's like, if we're late, I'll give you your deposit back too. Yeah. It's like, there's so many, but then again, to protect ourselves, like, do we push that window out like super far? Right. You'll get it in, whatever, a year and a half, which I will never do that, by the way.
Well, that's kind of what Sideshow's done with their, their bigger gap of months. That way they're protected a little bit, I would think too. When they say, sometimes they say like from April to August or something, they think their window's so big.
Well, I think you have to, because like I said, like, there's so many factors. The other thing about this industry is like to make, like, I really have got to do this. And I tried to do it when I was on my own with, I think it was a Hawk Girl superpower statue. I really would love and maybe Chris, you and I could do this, is like, or the whole group could do this, is like, let's like take something from the very beginning to the very end and show the whole process.
It'd be awesome.
Like the whole thing from, I want to make boing, and whatever it is, to getting the approval with Mattel, Warner Brothers, etc. And then what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? Just so, because I can't believe to get 9, 10, or like last year, 13 things in people's houses. It's a lot of work, and it makes me feel really like successful because it's a million people involved. It's not just me, it's so many people involved.
Well, first of all, challenge accepted. I think that would be incredible to do kind of like a documentary style, because it really does show the whole thing. I mean, us having conversations on the phone, I have so much insight about what goes on with these things, but not the average everyday collector doesn't have a clue about, the steps that you have to take just to get one thing made. And, just even get approval sometimes is a nightmare. So I think that would be really fun to do for sure. That'd be awesome. We'll talk about it. So we have a lot of comments, a lot of questions. So let's just get to them real quick here. Bullseye, a $5 super chat. Thank you very much. He just says, unrelated, but Tweeterhead's Martian Manhunter is one of the best statues ever made. Strong paint, silhouette design, and story. I smile every time I see it. Love that.
By the way, I had nothing to do with that one. So Jason Wires and Paul.
You did produce it. You did produce it, right? Yeah. Jeff says, I think it's nice that we're starting to hear more from companies like Tweeterhead XM and get some explanation as opposed to radio silence and everybody gets ticked. Very good point. Any word on the Superman bust? Is he complete? What stage is he in? That's from Jeff Houghton. So
he is at the factory. I know he's cast, and I think as soon as Batman is out of paint, he's going to go right in after into paint.
Okay. Brad Ladner in the house says, would you ever put out any statues that will be maybe 1/6 or 1/12 scale and have articulation and accessories for posing?
Not in my license.
Okay.
And also that's a ton of work. And so for our little company, I mean, anytime you talk about articulation, like it's a lot of work.
It's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. I tried to do an action figure once. And when I got the prototype and it was all breaking and falling apart, and then I was told it was like a $50,000 just to get all the steel molds made, I was like, no, I can't do that.
Cygor says, what's the plan for 1/6 DC? You said 2 pieces for 2024. How many can we expect for 2025?
So we're going to show Catwoman next month. She's done. She's printed. We'll show her next month because really this call is about talking about catching up and the production end of it, but she is going to be amazing. And also there's a little surprise attached to it. So she's coming out. Darkseid's going to be in January. We had to push him because of our schedule with production. We had to push him out a little bit. And then am I still on? Because you guys froze again.
Yeah, you are.
You're on.
Okay, good. So Darkseid will be in January. And then I think we have 3 other pieces. And, even though we're not going to show anything, like I'll just tell you guys, we're going to do a George Perez Deathstroke. That'll be fun.
That's huge news.
Yeah, it is big news.
Yeah. And then we've got a couple artists we're talking to about doing a little bit of an artist series. So that's all good news. And I'm so glad who asked that question? Was that Brad?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so glad he asked that question because that was on my list and I totally forgot to talk about it. So again, with the way things are, the low edition sizes, lots of the same characters, which I understand why that's the case. I understand why people make tons of Batmans. I mean, I know we've got a couple planned too. With some licenses, it's just hard to see like what you guys want, right? And to understand, like I knew like 5 years ago, I knew, if I release Batgirl, if I release XYZ, it will absolutely be fine. But today, I can tell you as of today, right now, it's hard to predict what DC characters I can make that people are going to want to purchase. As a businessman, I'm saying that, right? And when people are like, oh my God, I want a Firestorm, I'm like, I know in my heart of hearts, I'd love to make a Firestorm statue. I would love it. I can see it in my head, but I know we would sell 35.
Yeah.
Like,
and that just doesn't make business sense.
It sucks. No, because the only part of this business that has financially changed is the back end where I am, because the artist these amazing artists, to make a prototype, it still costs the same amount, whether it's 3 years ago or now. And so that's why, I know some people hate those busts. I know some people love them. That's my way of being like, hey, you want to George Perez, Zatanna? I'll do it. I can do it this way. But I know if I did a full-size statue, I mean, the edition size might be 80 pieces.
You take less of a hit with the bust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Which is great. And again, the fact that you've been able to do a $300 price point is just incredible. And again, it's incredibly affordable compared to what's mostly coming out on the market. Aside from, Iron Studios and Sideshow at times. But you can't get a third scale anything for $300. So I just think that's awesome.
And we've talked about it, like, Grundy is in the works, Clayface is in the works, Mr. Freeze we're going to show soon. We are going to continue the 6 scale line for the existence of our licenses, but it's just hard to predict what people want. It's difficult.
Because I would imagine there are things that you have made that maybe hasn't sold as well as you would like.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, even our Batman was disappointing numbers, but then, somebody could also say, well, there's a million Batmans out there. So that's the reason that didn't sell so well.
Does selling something like a Grundy, does that make you nervous?
No, not really. I mean, Doomsday made me nervous, and Doomsday sold really, really well.
Good.
So I'm out there like a cheerleader with my pom-poms for these busts, because I think once people see more and once people are like, damn, I'm going to get a Star Sapphire as a bust, but nobody would make her as a statue. Hopefully we start to just generate, something more excitement about it. But no, I'm not nervous about it. The bust, I'm not nervous at all. I mean, it's a great segue for us, but for the people, and this is the thing too, I wish social media was a little bit nicer sometimes, but I think everybody can say that. Taylor Swift can say that, right? Sure. Everybody goes after everybody on social media. But, the people that are, oh, I knew that line was dead. I know they killed that line. I know they killed that line. There's no end to that 6 scale DC line that we started. And
again, there's always good intentions. But at the end of the day, if people are not buying, you have to pivot. And you have to do something different.
Yeah, and a little kind of, not a secret, but I know a lot of people kind of slag me about canceling lines I started, and the superpowers, which I grew up with those superpowers action figures. That is my jam, those superpowers. So when I went to Warner Brothers and I said, hey, I want to do these statues, but I want to do superpower statues. Which is kind of funny because the first one was Supergirl, who was never an action figure. But that's a whole nother discussion. But it's I think we did 21 characters. But what I think a lot of people don't understand is that the longer a line goes on, the less every other piece sells. And it's really weird. My Batman 66 line, I think we moved 800 or 1,000 Batmans. And when we got to Penguin, I think it was 2, 3, maybe 400. I have to go look at the numbers, but it was so much lower. And if you looked at them from Catwoman down to the Penguin, that was the last one. It just drops, and I don't know exactly why. But I think the longer a line goes on, the less people buy into it.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense because you think people would be like, "Damn, you're going to make 100 of these guys? I want all these characters."
Yeah. Let's get back to some questions. El Fiery says, just some constructive criticism, Chad. Could you possibly maybe accept PayPal? Those who live abroad don't have any other way to pay. I don't know if that's something you'd be considering or not.
You know what? We did it in the past, and then there were a lot of issues with PayPal, what they want to do. So we did it in the past, and I don't know if this is the same way because we haven't done it in years, but in the past, what PayPal would do is if it was a pre-order market, they will hold the money until you deliver the goods. And until whoever asked that question, when they get it, PayPal will want to email them, and they'll want to get a confirmation that they received the product, they're happy with it, and then I think within 3 to 6 months they would release the funds back to me. And I don't know if it's the same way, but PayPal took a huge hit taking payments for pre-order businesses.
Crazy.
And so they had to pivot because they got completely roasted when a business went under, and they had to refund all this money that they had given to the company already.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
This is a $20 super chat from Brad. This is just a business idea. There is a way to make. He said there's lots of typos, so I'm not sure. I'm just going to read the way he said it. There's a way to make them starters for more marketable, raise your price point and profit margin, and reduce cancellations all in one go. It just takes an out-of-the-box method no other statue company has done. So I'm just reading what he said there.
So if you want to see the Tweeterhead tombstone, that's how we'll get it, is raising prices and not letting people cancel their orders. Like, I mean, who wrote that? Maybe
that was Brad. That was Brad Ladner. I don't know if you know Brad. He has the.
I do know Brad. No.
Yeah,
I do know,
the Guinness Book World
awesome.
Record. Yeah, Batman collection. So,
like, I would love it. Hey, it would be so cool to be like, no, you cannot cancel. You have to pay in full. We're now charging twice as much. But no, it's actually the opposite. The way to stay in this game, we've got to really look at the margins, look at what we're making, look at how much we need to sell, pivot, like. But it's not just collectibles. It's every business right now. It's every business out there. As you know, I'm at my friend's winery. The exact same thing here. Everybody has to pivot to figure out how we're going to change. Because a couple of years ago, I mean, COVID was my best year ever in the whole Tweeterhead lifespan. So, but it's still good. I mean, and we can't raise prices. That's just never going to happen. And if we do, it's a marginal, and it's because the factory raised the prices so high. But yeah, we can't do that.
Lawrence Ohl is asking about Beastman. Anticipated shipping in Q3 still on pace?
February, April, June, July, August, September. Yeah, end of September. It'll be the end of September, which is the end of the third quarter. But I think he's in production, so I think we're on track. And again, being super duper honest with you guys, like Beastman was one of our lowest editions of every Motu character.
Wow.
Which is funny because I freaking love it. I think the thing is amazing. In person, it's killer. But yeah, it was one of those things where I'm like, this is funny. Hi to Lawrence too. He's an awesome guy.
Yes. Bullseye says, "Hey Chad, are you looking for a part-time customer service rep?" No joke.
We already hired someone, so thank you. And it's really sweet. We actually got 1 million emails from people with their resumes. I want to work for Tweeterhead. And I'm like, seriously? It was just, it's kind of funny because I always equate, we're such a, nobody understands this. I don't think it would be cool to do a little, video of the day-to-day at Tweeterhead, because it's just literally me and Dave. We talk on the phone, we do our work, we're hustling. We have somebody that helps with social media. But yeah, I tell everybody, whenever Dave was transitioning from Sideshow over to Tweeterhead, I was, are you sure? Because I'm like, Sideshow's kind of like the Titanic, and Tweeterhead's kind of like that little door that she was floating on in the water. And there's not a whole lot of room for other people on it, as we know, because Leonardo DiCaprio froze to death.
Yes, he did.
No, it's a wonderful. It was really sweet, the people that do reach out, but I think we've got the customer service covered with a really awesome couple of people.
Well, if that doesn't work out, I totally volunteer. So just to put that in your, that would be a lot of fun. Somebody's asking about any chance for a Nightwing or Red Hood at 1/6. That's from Kygor.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Red Hood's not on our calendar, not on our wish list. So I don't want to be one of those, anything is possible. Red Hood is something that we haven't really talked too much about. I mean, I know, Chris, you and I talked about a Red Hood bust at one point.
Yes.
You thought they'll be very popular.
I mean,
Nightwing, I think Nightwing could be a next year one, because, we've got that set up with Batman, Catwoman, and it was designed to include other heroes, and then also designed to have an opposite mirror image of villains, besides, just like Joker, blah, 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 blah. So Nightwing is definitely possible. Nightwing is a weird one though, because like so many companies haven't done it. And I think the perception is he's so popular, but sometimes I'm questioning, like, is he that popular? Like, is it, what do you guys think?
I'll defer to you guys. What do you guys?
I think it's a legitimate question. I don't know the answer, but I would have the same concern.
It's not a character I would collect. I know a lot of people want to see like a Red Hood.
So you would say, so you would think like, maybe we throw that out there as like a poll or something, like Red Hood or Nightwing, like who should come first?
I think Red Hood would be more popular in my opinion, but I just think because he's just he's kind of an anti-hero type character, kind of blurs the line a little bit. So I could see him being a little bit more popular because I think wouldn't you guys say the villains tend to be pretty popular in general?
Usually. Well, Crime One did a Nightwing. Was it that popular when it came out? Didn't really seem that. Yeah, it didn't really.
It's the Hush one. It was kind of so.
Yeah. So,
what was the edition size? Anybody know that off the top of their head?
Maybe like 350, 400, maybe not even that many. I'll have to go back and look.
Hey, Chad, can you talk about Missing Monsters a little bit? What's going on with that line?
Yeah, so Gilman is in production. We had a little bit of an overlap with a character that another company is doing. So we had to take a little bit of a pivot from that. But next year, probably by the middle of the year, we'll have our second one out, which is going to be Medusa.
Oh, good.
She's really, really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Batkid Voodoo says, Chad, just the fact that you reached out to confirm canceling an order motivated me to keep it. And that was Panthro. Keep up the white glove from the founder service. It works.
Oh, nice. Okay. I'm going to send him, get his email because I'm going to send him everybody else that canceled their orders and see if we can make them not cancel their orders.
That's awesome. That's right.
I'll hire him. He's our new customer service rep.
There you go. Yeah. Any chance of a 1/6 penguin? Possibly. I don't know if that'd be somebody you'd want to do down the road.
Maybe down the road. I mean, I grew up on Batman, so I love everything Batman. I love. So it's kind of funny because sometimes we'll release stuff, and I'm like, oh, why did I wait so long for this character? Considering it's something. I think it was actually when I started off, I was so obsessed, which I still obsessed with the '66 Batman TV show, that when I started Tweeterhead, all I cared about was making '66 Batman characters. And then when I went into the superpowers, I think like 3 years later, I was like, why wasn't I doing this all this time? And like, why wasn't, why some of these characters came later or earlier? But yeah, Penguin, Penguin's always on the short list. Catwoman, Joker, Penguin, Riddler, Two-Face. The big five, right?
I think a Tweeterhead version of Penguin could be a lot of fun because I think it'd be kind of a classic style. I think it'd be really neat what you would come up with for sure.
But I gotta say, it's hard. It is difficult though because like that sideshow Penguin is so darn good.
It is.
And ours would be completely different, but that's one that I look at sometimes and just bang my head against the wall like, oh, I wish we had made that.
Yeah. Kevin is asking about the website. He says the website seems glitchy at times. Will there be any improvements on it?
Yes. Yeah. I know that a couple people have gone and tried to order Batman and they've been like, I can't order it. I've tried 7 times. So if the glitchiness is the customer service part, we've got that figured out. If it's something else, like shoot me an email, chat@tweeterhead.com. One of the things that I say like is, I don't know. And Chris, I told you this earlier when we talked is, this is my baby. This is something I started 13 years ago. I didn't know it was still going to be here. We've had so many crazy successful things happen in great years. And now we're in kind of a slow year, going to come out of that with flying colors. But, I take everything so personally. And so with the customers, and I also say, like, I hate that word customers too. Like, if you're just like a fan, you don't have to buy my stuff. If you just like it, you're part of this whole Tweeterhead community.
Yep.
And, I take, so, that's why I said like social media, God, I wish it was a little bit friendlier because like, when someone writes and says, like, you're late on this, you've disappointed me, I'm really pissed off or I'm really bummed out. Like that does not go right here. Like it is like a smack, like, And, you know, it's something that, you know, I hope never changes about me or Tweeterhead, but, you know, everyone that invests in us, like, we care about a lot. And so that was, you know that's why this whole thing was kind of born, this whole evening.
100%. Neural Without Order says, Chad, have you ever considered doing like a 2 or 3 pack of the bus? I know it would be difficult due to size, but it would be cool to maybe have a pair where they are an exclusive, maybe a Nightwing and Red Hood, or I could see that maybe doing something special like that from time to time.
Oh yeah, of course. Like we've actually talked about that, doing like Green Arrow and Black Canary, like, you know, two in one kind of thing. Or, you know, if we talk about edition sizes and you want to sell 12, it would be what I want to make so bad as a Wonder Twins set of bus. It would be a 3-pack, Zan, Jana, and Gleek. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not a joke, but I know people are probably laughing, but I'm so serious about that.
That's right. You've been talking about the Wonder Twins for years. I know.
For years, ever since at Comic-Con, I think I showed a little drawing of them.
Yeah, you did.
But yeah, no, I would be totally open to a 2-pack. I think it would be kind of cool. We may, maybe down the road, do like a Batgirl and Robin 2-pack, or a variant Batman and Robin 2-pack, you know, something like that. But yeah, no, that's a great idea.
It's a cool.
But again, then we're talking about like $675, and is someone ready to drop that on 2 busts? You know,
right? It's a good point.
Chad, you had more than a drawing. You had prototypes for the Wonder Twins at Comic-Con.
I had Gleek. We never got as far as the Wonder Twins, but we did Gleek. We had a really we definitely. I would tell you if we did. I swear we didn't. We had Gleek. We had one Gleek that was kind of friendly looking. And then we had one that was kind of like a badass. You know, we were kind of riffing on that. What is that raccoon? That raccoon from
Rocket.
Rocket. So it was kind of like that. It was like a badass Gleek that was kind of cool. But that's the only thing we showed. We had them in our case at Comic-Con. But the thing with the Wonder Twins that's so hard is, God, you got me talking about the Wonder Twins. The thing that's so hard about them as a statue is, you know, the ultimate pose is like this, right? But that means they have to be far apart from each other. That means it's going to take up a ton of shelf space, and the bases are going to be kind of bigger or whatever. So I've got tons of concept drawings of like, you know, Jaina in the front and, you know, Zan in the back, and he's like behind her and they're like doing this. So maybe one of these days it'll be, you know, we've tossed around a couple ideas that I won't talk about now that are like not crowd-funded, but are crowd participatory, if I can say that. Where
I think that could be really cool.
Really,
I mean, that's been really
cool, but
that's been really successful with a lot of different companies like Mattel. You know, to get those special pieces made, and they go over like gangbusters. People are really excited about them, and they've really become a big thing. So that's interesting.
Somebody posted the other day, which I don't know who this is. It wasn't me under an assumed name, but he had this great idea of what if, and you guys probably saw this. He said, like, what if like Tweeterhead told us what they were gonna produce, and we just pre-ordered it just on what they were gonna do alone, like the name alone, and then supported it throughout the whole process. And all the comments were like, "Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Are you insane? We're never gonna do that." I'm like, "We're gonna do Starfire. It's $600. Ding, 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 ding. We're gonna go And so I love that guy, whoever it was. I'm like, I think you're awesome, but yeah, everyone was like, "Are you nuts?" But there was something else about DC I was going to say about just the character choices. Shoot, I totally lost it. But yeah, I think like, you know, any more questions? Like I
was going to say I didn't want to keep you too long. You're here 55 minutes.
I'm fine. I actually don't have to be anywhere for another half hour. So.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we got a lot more questions. We'll just kind of spit or do a kind of a rapid fire here. Any chance of an Orko for the MOTU line?
Yes. Yeah. Orko was our test. We tested whenever I first dipped my toe into it, and I was talking to Dave, and it's like, let's see if this line actually could go somewhere. And this was on Sideshow.
Right.
We did it for Sideshow. And it was like, what character could we do that wouldn't cost a ton of money to produce if it doesn't sell a lot? And we're like, oh, Orko. And which kind of a dorky character, if you're not like a crazy animated fan, he sold like gangbusters. So yeah, there will be another Orko coming around. I don't know if it's a variant of the original, something slightly different, but yeah, we can't, that thing, I mean, what's that, 6 years old at this point?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it
So,
still holds up
and
though.
he's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that piece, but I think if you even try to find him now, it's impossible.
Yeah.
And once we started the new line, it's like you can't go back and search eBay for $2,000 for work.
Right.
So he's got to come back around.
Austin says, what might be the first female bust, and what do you think the price point would be? Well, you've actually kind of already teased her.
Oh yeah, easy peasy. Catwoman.
Yeah.
Next year, Catwoman. The two busts, two females so far. There's another one in the works, but Catwoman and the Perez Zatanna.
Yeah.
And Catwoman, I showed her, and we got some really good feedback because I love her. I mean, it's next year is her. I think it's her 80th anniversary, if I'm not wrong, or 75th. But we wanted to represent her the way she was drawn by Bob Kane. And so we gave her that really retro hairstyle. And some people loved it. Some people didn't love it. And so when the Catwoman bust comes out, which will be $300, unless they're giant monsters, they're all going to be $300. She will come with two heads, one with that retro hairstyle. And Chris, I think I showed you, it's got one with like the long flowy black hair.
She looks great. really good. Yeah.
It's actually, it changes that. It's kind of funny how that one tiny change of the hairstyle changes the whole piece.
Yes. I love the pose. It's super sexy. It's just really beautiful with that longer hair. And I really like the retro look too. I mean, you can't go wrong either way. I think people are going to be really happy when they see it. For sure.
Yeah. And so next year, that, and then Zatanna, I said. So there'll be the Zatanna, which is looking fantastic, by the way.
KVC says, will a Penguin and Two-Face bust happen? I would assume yes at some point.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they're kind of already in the works, and I think you've seen Two-Face already.
I have indeed.
We have some good news about Two-Face to share.
That's great. Bust comes out. Brad continues to say, no, you can actually raise prices and add value to the customer and increase your profit with unique marketing move no other company has done. It would also reduce cancels and increase customers. You should contact Brad. He's a really cool business dude and knows a lot.
Yeah, no, I would love to. I know I've got his email. I know he's like in our email, so I will definitely reach out to him. And I was, kidding, saying about raising the prices and everything, but there is definitely something to be said, there's across the street from me, there's a clothing store. They do not take returns. You get a store credit. It's like buying a car. Once you walk out the door, you get a store credit.
Yeah.
No returns. No cash. I should say no cash. Returns.
Yeah, no cash. Yeah. Jim says Dr. Doom 1/3 maybe.
No, never, because we don't have the Marvel license.
That's right. Any thoughts on Batman the Animated Series being a possible 1/6 line?
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh, that's
been cooking for a while. There's a lot of questions there. Like, do we do straight up animated versions? Do we do slightly tweaked Bruce Timm versions? But yeah, that's besides Batman the Animated Series, this new Batman show that's coming out has got me so excited.
Yeah.
Somebody asked earlier, I forgot to highlight it, but somebody asked earlier if TV shows and movies do well, does that affect the statues? And I would say yes, 100%. If the movies are doing well, that definitely drives sales up. For like if Marvel is doing well in the movies, people are wanting to buy Marvel statues. Same thing with these DC stuff. Like if this Batman animated series does really well, I can see an uptick
I would
for
love
DC.
to do statues of that.
Yeah, it would be absolutely incredible. And
I'll tell you the downside of that is, okay, so how many Batmans have we had, right? From Adam West all the way up to Rob Pattinson.
Yeah.
The problem is, like, when a movie comes out, we don't know if it's going to be a hot movie or a dud. And so if you invest in making stuff for it before it comes out, then you're like, oh crap, that bombed, and nobody wants the statue of Madam Web, right?
Right.
But if it's a hit and you go to make it after the fact, then by the time you actually get it out, even the prototype made, you're kind of so far past that like endorphin rush of loving that movie.
Yep.
And for me, what I would always say is like I have seen this pattern of people like, oh my God, Rob Pattinson's Batman. I'm going to sell all my Ben Affleck Batmans. or my Christian Bale Batmans for the next version. So it's hard. That is really hard to gauge.
Is it ever possible to get like the designs from like upcoming movies like ahead of time,
Yeah, like if you have a license, you get definitely some intel. You get you get some really cool things that I can't talk about.
Sure.
But obviously studios want you to make stuff of their upcoming product. But the part that freaks me out is sometimes I get stuff and it's like watermarked like Chad Colebank all over it. And I'm like, I don't want this on my laptop because it gets out because there have been leaks. And in fact, we had a discussion about the new Superman movie. And at one point, like a long time ago, there was something and I was like, please don't send it to me. I'm not going to open it up. If I can come down and just see something, like it's fine. But, can you imagine if somebody like stole my laptop and
it'd be awful.
Something got out and then like the biggest movie, currently in the history of, Warner Brothers, like all of a sudden something gets leaked, right? So it always scares me. But yeah, no, we get a heads up. Sometimes not super super early. Like the first time I saw Superman was when the costume was when stuff got leaked. But I would imagine now that there's assets out there that you could get.
Yeah.
Which I'm stoked about that Superman movie.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hope it's good. I hope it's good.
You know me, 80s kid, or 70s kid, I should say, when I saw they were filming at that, whatever it is as the Hall of Justice or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget what that Union Station or whatever. Like, I got so excited.
Yeah, it gave me Superpowers vibes for sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Does the fact that Red Hood uses guns make him harder to produce?
It used to.
I'm so excited. I'm assuming you'll be able to speak more on that in the future.
Yeah.
Yes. John Hurt says, I think at 1.6 Mr. Freeze would do really good. I definitely order him.
I agree. I think Freeze is definitely like, I don't know, I said the big five. I think Freeze is kind of like moved into the big five and maybe kicked one of those guys out.
I do too.
He's such a unique looking character.
I think people really like him a lot.
Yeah. And the base lens for a ton of cool stuff.
Yeah. I think he's a sympathetic character. So, you understand why he is the way he is, which I think makes him relatable.
Can I say something about that really quick?
Yes.
I like my villains to just be complete badasses. Like, like if you go back and you look at Catwoman when I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, she was madly in love with Batman, but she was a badass and like hell on wheels, right? I'm not a fan of like when they're kind of like, in the middle or an anti-hero or whatever. I just want them to be a complete badass.
And I feel like more and more are like that these days, where they are kind of like, Catwoman's a good guy now, really. It's like, I don't know. She's considered part of the Bat family half the time. So it's crazy. Batman Collector says, Chad, your statues are awesome. The quality always blows me away. Delays have always been part of collecting. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you. He's our new customer service manager.
That's right. There you go. Showtime 101 says, what about the possibility of doing pieces that could connect to one another to make a diorama? Gives incentive to collect all the pieces to combine, or just collecting the one you like by yourself? Well, I think that's happening.
Yeah, that's happening with our Batman, Catwoman, Nightwing, maybe, that, and what they don't connect, but they're like proximity. So, they do have a little key where you can like not touch the bases, but there's like a little, if you looked at it from, the top down, you could like figure out how they should go. But yeah, that's definitely something we've thought about.
Stanley's asking about cons. I know they're difficult these days.
Yeah, I will be at Comic-Con, but just as a spectator. It was kind of funny because we always had our little booth over in Hall, I think it was Hall H, Hall G, I don't know. But, and then I moved to that really big booth. And again, economics, it was an incredible year. My husband walked in and said he almost burst into tears because we looked like a giant company, even though we're like a shoebox, right? But like economically right now, the return just isn't like what it needs to be to do a big show like Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But I miss it. I mean, I always get melancholy. Like last year I was there and didn't have a booth, and it's kind of fun. Having a booth and having just your own spot there and having people come to you, it's just so much fun.
Well,
have you thought about maybe doing a smaller show? I mean, WonderCon is a pretty good convention, but it must be far cheaper than San Diego.
We've thought about it. I don't know, to be honest, Jeff. It's like, because the booth size is kind of what dictates where you're going to be, and then also everything you do that's related to your booth. Like the last time I was there, I used to bring a vacuum, and we would like vacuum our space. And the last year that I was there, you couldn't vacuum your space. You had to pay, I think, like $240 a day or something to have your space vacuumed. And if you were caught vacuuming, they would turn your power off for the weekend.
That's crazy.
So that's just like a little insider thing. But so I don't know how much cheaper it is. I think what I would like to do, if I could, and we've talked about this, is maybe do an offsite, like rent one of those like vacant store fronts. Like I think Hasbro did that. There was like a Cobra thing at one of these storefronts a couple of years ago in San Diego, but like rent that, or rent like, obviously we can't rent like a hotel room, like come up to room 226, but rent like like a ballroom or something, and like set up there.
It's kind of like New York Comic-Con does similar stuff to like that. So you have like the main New York Comic-Con, and then they have like all these off-site events happening in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, and like New York would be a blast, because it would be so cool to have like, I know a couple galleries we could have stuff at, but yeah, I don't think we're going to be back at the conventions like anytime soon, but I think doing like a little gallery show or a little pop-up, like pop-up's probably the best word for it, like a little Tweeterhead pop-up, or another thing I thought about, which I think would be kind of cool, is like a Comic-Con, do a little scavenger hunt and like tell people, hey, there's 4 brand new Tweeterhead pieces on the floor. You just have to like, answer these riddles and go find it, and like get other places to just put a little podium out with my stuff there, And of course I pay for it, but
you should do a panel.
Oh, I'd love to. Dave has done a bunch of panels. I'm not a talker, so I'm nervous when I get up there. Yeah. I'm totally kidding. But the panel would be so long. No, Dave's done a couple panels at like PowerCon. I would love to do a panel.
I'd love to see a panel, because PowerCon, it's Masters of the Universe stuff, but the DC stuff you could really promote well at a panel.
Yeah, it's a good way to advertise without bringing everything with you.
Yeah,
and I think we're also, we're coming up on 15 years in business. I got to look at that date exactly, but maybe like a 15-year retrospective, because like you guys know, this happened, like this Tweeterhead happened as just a hobby, and then it kind of got bigger and bigger and bigger. And sometimes when I get down, when there are like lots of like little issues, it's like I've just got to be like, oh, like think about like where we started and where we are and the stuff we've done. It's pretty satisfying, and all the people we've met, right? I mean, like being here talking to you guys. I mean, I give Chris credit all the time and Jeff credit all the time, but to start these communities, and when people used to not have anybody, it would be dorky to say, oh, back before Batman Returns, if you're like, I'm going to go see that, well, before Batman 89, I guess, if you were like talking about comic books, oh, you're a nerd, you're a dork, whatever. And then this community kind of formed, and to be able to come here and talk to complete strangers or people that I know or people that I've dealt with in emails, like it's really cool.
That's why I said, we talk about it all the time, that the best part of the hobby, we all love art, but it's really the community that's the best part, because we can't connect with people that understand the things that we love. And again, I'm glad that you said that, because that's very, very true. It's very true.
My God, it's amazing. It's like, we're all like very special, like unique people, but the fact that there's a place to go and bond with each other, or with social media or with Statue Forum, like this is the next level, because you get to actually connect with real people and talk and hang out. Um,
Yeah.
But speaking of art, so Chris, what is up? You are like the art collector now. You got to change your name to like the Batman art collector.
Well, what I said is we talked a little bit about it, that I feel like we've kind of been a little bit in a statue lull over the last year. And, there's just been as much stuff coming out, not as much exciting, things on the horizon. However, now, so I pivoted and I started collecting art, and I've really gone way down the rabbit hole for sure. But that's what I'm excited about now, like with what you're doing with the bus, and what LBS is doing with some of the larger scale things. It's made it exciting to collect again. And so I think that the original art's probably going to start slowing down as the statues start coming back out again. And again, I'm all in on your bus line, so I can't wait for those. But it's
just so you know, we're going to raise our prices beginning with the next bus.
It's all Chris's fault. That's right.
Yeah. We're going to be raising it to $700 a bust.
Oh Lord. But yeah, the original art stuff is it's a lot of fun. But man, because it's it's 101. It's there's not you have one of one, and that's really neat. But what I really enjoy right now is mixing the art with the 3D art. I'm just trying to figure out how to display it. That's the hardest part for me.
Yeah,
but
no, yeah, I get it. And and there are a couple of statues we made. Their edition size is that one of one. Edition size 1.
That's right.
Yeah, Wonder Twins edition size 1.
There you go. Let's Jimmy G at Godlike Statues said, I understand licensing and pricing might be a challenge, but I know most collectors would like to see a 1/4 or a 1/3 line from Tweeterhead. Is this possible in the future? I know at least quarter scale wise, that's a difficult one.
Quarter scale, no. Well, with Sideshow, who are our friends, we've done some quarter scale stuff. There might be some other stuff in the future. 3rd scale, I don't think that's in our license. I'd have to check, but I don't think so.
Let's see. Wonder Woman bust.
I'd love to do it.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. She's
of course. Joker bust, I'm assuming for sure.
Yeah, of course. Joker, Harley. If I showed you my bust list, it would be insane. Just be Scarecrow. But then we got to get out of that Batman hole, right? Because it's like,
no, don't get out of the Batman hole. Just stay right in there.
This is a DC line, so already Martian Manhunter bust, Sinestro bust, Green Lantern Corps busts. The support for these busts, and I know some people. It's so funny. Some people, and I love you all, but some people are like, I hate bust. I'm like, don't hate bust because you have no idea what's coming. Like, it's going to be really cool. And if you want some of these characters, you will never get them as statues.
Yep.
But the busts have been incredibly successful. I mean, Superman, Doomsday, Batman. Superman. And we have a little surprise Superman thing coming out too at some point. But those have all been either Superman's completely sold out, Batman's this close, Doomsday's this close. I don't know what's going to happen with Freeze, but yeah, the busts. But again, for everybody that loves the statues, don't think that these busts are replacing them, because they're not. Really, we're trying to gauge what DC characters do you guys? What are you really? What do you want? And to be a super duper frank, super duper honest, because I'm a Batman fan. I love Superman. I love some of the Superman. Silver Banshee. I want to make a bust of her, but Darkseid as a statue, it's scary to say, but do people want a Darkseid statue?
Right.
We're not going to know until we put it on pre-order.
Yeah. Riddler bust possibly next year, going up for pre-order.
Maybe the very end of this year, maybe the very, very end. With Sideshow announcing their Riddler, I want to figure out, we can't have a million Riddlers. There's no Riddlers ever, and then there's going to be 4 Riddlers out at the same. It's like Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman. It's like a gazillion of the same things within 2 months of each other. So it'll definitely be next year, but I think we all, with a character like the Riddler, we need to all give each other a little bit of space, right?
Right. And
that's a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Does your DC license include anything from DC or just superpower stuff? Could you do like a Swamp Thing? Could you do a John Constantine or Sandman and the Dream or Death from the Endless? Because I think that would be pretty popular stuff.
So that's all. So the beauty of the license is, and when you start to like redo your license or renegotiate, you can add stuff, take stuff out. Those characters, like, I mean, when the bust eventually gets some steam going, like I want to do a Sandman bust immediately. Swamp Thing is a no-brainer. Swamp Thing 6-scale statue, I would love to do, but that's another one that I can't really count on the sales, right? Although it's so cool, it would be. I can see what it would look like. But yeah, DC. There's kind of like they call it like Batman core, Superman core, Wonder Woman core, JLA core, and a lot of those characters somehow fit in there somewhere.
I love this. This is from Irma Carr, a 1939 first appearance Batman. That could be kind of a cool bust. I don't know if that's ever been done.
That'd be a cool statue.
Yeah, I think either way. Like, I think it's just, isn't he like purple gloves?
Purple gloves, the big ears.
Yeah.
The belt with the circled belt buckle. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about there's so many Things that like are kind of out there gelling, but like one of them was like a first appearance line, right? First appearance of Batman, first appearance of Superman, first appearance of Wonder Woman, I think those would be awesome. I think those would sell also, like, from a business point of view.
Yeah. Because again, I think at this point, we've talked about how the market has been oversaturated for a long time, offering versions of the characters that we haven't seen. An example of that, I know like Sideshow's Gotham by Gaslight premium format that they just did. That's on waitlist. It's impossible to get. And it's done very well for them. And so, like, again, it's just been a different version that we haven't seen for a long time. So I could see people really digging those.
I mean, that piece is awesome also, by the way. I've seen it in person, and I was like, there's something, with Sideshow that I got to say, because they are my friends, but there's something about, like, there's like, sometimes I see some of their stuff, and I'm just like, oh, I wish that was a Tweeterhead statue. And for instance, not as much the Batman on that one, but the base. I don't know why I'm obsessed with the smoke on that base. The smoke is so cool. And like the little window, the little stained glass window or whatever. But yeah, that's a great piece. Yeah. So, I mean, definitely, like, things are pivoting, and we're looking at different, iterations. We're going to release next year, probably a Batgirl bust. There's so many versions of Batgirl now. But yeah, so we'll see how things go. But, I guess my big takeaway, and I'm sorry, Chris, I got to actually leave in like 2 minutes.
No worries.
But my big takeaway is, like, apologies for the communication if people haven't heard back from me, like, as soon as they would like to. But I just want to reiterate, like, we're not going anywhere. And, Tweeter has never let these guys down, and we're not going to ever let you down. And so, if things take a couple extra months, I would just say, please give us a little bit of grace, and just know that it's for a bigger purpose, right? And it's not like there are containers there that I could just call up and get 3 40-foot containers, even if the product is sitting there. Like, that's the part that, to kind of end this whole thing, that it really is the part that is out of my control.
Yeah, I mean, we always want it to be butterflies and rainbows all the time, but it just isn't that way in the real world. There's always these little bumps in the road sometimes. And, I think collectors have learned to be patient. And again, just coming on a show like this, or any show where you're transparent, what's going on, why things are the way they are. It's very refreshing, because there are a lot of companies out there that are radio silent. We never have any idea what's going on with them. And it just creates a lot of ill will, which, again, the negativity with social media and all that stuff. And so I think being proactive and talking about this stuff sets you high above a lot of the other companies. So I really appreciate that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. And I mean, like, when I started this too, it was like, when I started with my little Kimba, that little pinup witch that I did, I could not get anybody to give me the name of the factory. I begged every company. And luckily I found this factory that was amazing. I'm working with them they do like 90% of Tweeterhead stuff, but that's just not how I live my life. And it's not how I operate. If Jeff calls me up and says, "Hey, I want to get in the statue game, and can you help me find a factory?" I'm like, "Yeah, XYZ is here in LA in a month. Like, let's go have lunch with them." And David, he's pivoting. David is like, what is that character, Mr. What is it called? The most interesting man in the world. He has got more things percolating than every coffee pot in the world. Seriously, he's got so many ideas, so many things percolating. And when he did his other stuff he's doing with Todd at Spec Fiction, the first thing was like, how can we help each other? How can we support each other? How can share industry secrets? Because the big picture is like we're all here to kind of help each other out, right?
Yeah, everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to make everybody happy, and at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. Is just being part of the community and helping each other out wherever we can.
Luckily, they didn't ask me for my DC phone number.
That's right. That's right. Well, again, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I know we had you way longer than we originally anticipated.
No, this was fun.
Really appreciate you answering all the questions. And again, if we didn't get to everybody's question, I do apologize. But this isn't the last time we'll have Chad on. Chad's welcome anytime he wants to come on.
Yeah.
And so, again, I hope you have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, you guys. Bye.
All right, take care.
Chad. See you next week, Chad.
Bye.
That's right. Have fun at San Diego. Wow, that was good, huh?
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff there.
Excellent.
Well, I had just kind of a really quick thing to do before we look at pictures. I didn't know how long we would have Chad, but I wanted to just show you guys a couple of things real quick. Did you guys see this news today?
Yes, that's really good news.
Really big news. Obviously, the Russo brothers were instrumental in working with the other Avengers films, working with Marvel and Disney. And obviously, can we safely say that Marvel's been a bit dry over the last couple of years?
Yeah.
I think that's putting it mildly. But it's big news.
I watched both Infinity Game or Infinity War and Endgame together. So I watched like 5.5 hours of Marvel on the way home and was reminded just how good those two movies are.
That's awesome. Now, they've done 3 Avengers movies, so this is talking about 5 and 6. Whenever I read the article, is somebody else doing 4? Do we know?
I don't remember.
It must be. And is that where they're going to maybe introduce the X-Men at some point? Right? Wouldn't you think? Isn't that the rumor?
Maybe. It seems weird to me to introduce the X-Men in an Avengers movie, but who knows?
What do you think, Eric?
I heard similar rumblings. Yeah, they're going to start, trying to tease the X-Men.
And obviously, the Fantastic Four as well. I mean, that's all that universe is going to be coming out as well.
Everyone in the chat's reminding us that 4 Avengers movies have already come out.
What am I? Oh, what was the second one? I'm trying to think. We had Avengers, and then they had the 2 final ones. What was the one in the middle? What was number 2? Was that
Age of Ultron?
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't love that one as much. That's probably why I
erased it from your memory.
They did Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. There we go. Okay. All right. So that is really good news for Marvel fans, but also I don't know if you guys saw this today. They announced they're doing a new DC kind of reboot again. But this is going to be a major deal starting in October. I'm assuming we'll find out more at San Diego Comic-Con. But this is held or kind of started up by Scott Snyder and another creator. I can't remember who. But it's going to be across the board. Did you guys see the announcement today?
No.
There's actually a video with Scott Snyder kind of talking about this. And it's going to go across all titles. They're still going to continue where they've left off, like with the individual books, but then they're going to do this big thing again, called All In. And the first one, it's neat. It's going to be a double-sided, like a flip book, where one side is going to be from Superman's perspective and the other side flipped over is going to be from Darkseid's perspective. And I think they're really wanting to establish Darkseid, kind of reboot him and really establish him as the big bad of DC, you know, the major villain. So obviously, you know, I don't know where Jeff probably knows more than I do, where kind of comic book sales are these days, but I would assume any type of big event like this, it's meant to kind of kickstart the hobby again and get people interested.
Sure, absolutely. I don't have any real knowledge about comic sales these days, but this event is reminiscent of every event they've done the last 30 years.
Right. And that's the thing is they say this is going to be the biggest event in decades. But I'm like, how often do we do these like New 52? Like, you know, like
every year.
It's like, I get why they would want to like make it exciting and, you know, create a big deal, but I don't know.
Well, it's also a launch pad for new readers to come in.
Yeah, absolutely. And what they wanted to stress was they said the very best artists that they've ever worked with DC is going to be on this project.
Well, I hope they have the very best writers to go along with those very best artists.
Yes, I think that's what it sounds like. And I don't know if it's like kind of led by Scott Snyder, but it sounds like just creatives in general that they wanted to bring everybody back and work on individual titles and just, you know, and kind of all kind of merge into this one big thing. Cool. So Nerd World Order says it's supposed to be a massive event and jumping on point, most importantly. Yep. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I hope it's good. I don't love the Elseworld stories. I like just my individual Batman stories, but there's so many people that love these characters that I'm just excited for them. I hope it's something that's really good. Anything else you guys want to talk about on that topic?
No, I want to see pictures, damn it.
All right, time for Jeff to eat. That's right. Getting cranky. We got to get him food. All right, let's see what we got. I got my banner off there. Let's get into some photos. All right.
I already said.
Yeah. All right. Can you guys see this okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be huge.
This is going to be huge. This is the font.
Yeah.
This is created by our good friend Eric, which I thought was hilarious. So obviously Sideshow Con is in full force right now, and they're doing a lot of font teasers. And so, Eric, tell us a little bit about this.
And is there going to be a Hall H panel about the font?
Yeah, tell us.
I usually like to play some type of prank every year when they do these releases. So I was like, I'm not going to do like character teasers and piss everybody off. So I was like, I'll just go along with what they've been doing. They've been just showing, you know, your logo is basically the whole month so far. So
your 1 or 2 year running joke about Riddler that pisses everybody off is finally actually going to happen. So
now they're making it. I can't do that anymore.
But I thought
I put this in Jeff's group also, and I was reading some of the comments, and people were like, "What is this? I don't understand." And I'm like, it's just a logo, nothing else. It says
it's just the font.
People are Googling it and stuff like, who's this character? Like,
I just cracked up. I thought that was so hilarious. So anyway, we're having a little bit of fun here. But obviously, again, as we look into some of these teasers for Sideshow Con, we've had a lot of really great stuff shown, kind of. Obviously, the Riddler premium format figure.
I feel a little bit better about this now because I was getting nervous that it might be the movie version, and then Chad kind of just hinted like, well, we're not going to release our Riddler because Sideshow's doing a Riddler. So maybe
right. Yeah. This is going to be a DC Comics Riddler. And so I think it's going to be very much in vain. Again, I have not seen this piece, but I think it's going to be very much in line with what they've done with like Penguin and some of the other characters. And I think it's going to be an awesome piece. I can't wait. I think probably more than likely when Sideshow Con. Jeff, did you maybe have some dates? Maybe I think you said the other day that you had kind of maybe heard.
I think it's the 23rd to the 26th when we're going to get the walkthroughs of the Sideshow booth and all that.
So I'm going to be on a boat. I sure hope I can get some Wi-Fi because I can't wait to see those. But I would assume that most of these that we'll probably see at the event that they've teased. I think this is just a way to tease it up to the event itself. But congratulations. We've been asking for a Riddler for a really long time.
So there's a person at Sideshow named Alex, and Alex used to post on Statue Forum a lot.
Sideshow Alex.
Sideshow Alex.
That was her name.
And people got kind of and Sideshow Alex went away for a long time. Sideshow Alex is back.
Oh.
And I did mention the other day that everything that you've been teased with these title cards will be shown either as full statues or unpainted statues or renders or sketches. You're going to get to see the stage they're at right now.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. Even if they just showed like a handful, like 5 to 10 of them, I'd be good with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to make one hell of a show. I mean, it really is.
Yep.
So we've got Riddler. This was another big surprise. Actually, I filmed a hit or miss video on this today. It's up for members right now. If you want to become a member, you can hit the join button. But this is a new Mythos line. And this one is the Joker and Harley. This is apparently going to be a 1/5 scale diorama. They've also announced some other characters in quarter scale, but it is a Mythos, which I'm very excited about. I think it's a really cool idea. I'm not sure yet how I feel about this particular statue, but I like the idea at least of it. What do you guys think of the initial reveal of this statue?
I can give you some news about this one too.
Yes, please.
There are switch out hands with guns.
Haha, which again alludes a little bit to what Chad had said, that he'll be able to talk about at some point. But we've talked a little bit on this channel about how we've heard rumors that DC is backing off a little bit, which really will change the game about, I think, a lot of which characters, because I know some of the statue companies have been frustrated to not be able to do certain things, especially, like let's say a Two-Face and not being able to have a gun he's known to have, a revolver. And so this is going to be a big deal. Have you heard anything about head swap outs, Jeff, on this one?
I have not.
I really want to see a fedora. I think like having some sort of mobster hat on Joker would be really cool. Also, I'm really puzzled by the decision to do a cut and sew on a 5th scale. Are you guys surprised by that?
No.
I really love this piece. The only initial complaint I had when I first saw that image is I was like, is he wearing a life vest? I was like, I don't really like the color choice for the orange, especially with her wearing red. I think they should have did like a yellow vest maybe, or like what's that other color usually wears, like that like a turquoise type. I don't know. I just don't like the orange. I feel like it clashes with her dress, but I love everything else about the piece. I think it looks awesome. I
really do wish it was fully sculpted. I just don't really understand the cut and sew choice on a 5th scale, but I do love the idea of it. Obviously it's a Bonnie and Clyde type piece, set in the 1930s. And again, Sideshow taking some risks here, giving us something different, but it really does, make me very excited that they're going to do a bunch of Mythos pieces. This one included. This one obviously says statue. It does not say premium format. So I would assume that maybe Batman will also be 5th scale. But I guess time will tell. I'm sure we'll probably see it here at SideshowCon next week.
This looks promising just by the font.
Yeah, I love the font.
The font. I like the font better than this font.
I'm getting a good vibe by this font here.
Is this font better than this font?
That's a great font.
I like this font.
I like that font.
This one's really good, but
that's a good image. I got the letters flying out the background.
Yeah, I was going to say you couldn't have done it any better than that, because that it has a 3D effect. It's very happy with that.
Yeah. And it tells the whole story. It's just a logo, nothing else.
It's a logo, nothing else.
Yeah.
We also have a Harley Quinn Neon Dream. Now this one does say premium format.
Bring it on.
A lot of people have been kind of confused by the neon. They're like, well, didn't they already do kind of a Harley Hell on Wheels with the neon? And yes, they did. But again, this is a Mythos. So again, it's not going to be your traditional DC Comics version of Harley. It's going to be Sideshow's creative version of Harley.
It's going to be a 1980s Harley.
Oh, you've heard rumors, have you?
Oh, no, Neon Dream to me is 80s.
Oh, that could be kind of fun. Little like sweatbands and I don't know, like little joggers or something. Yeah,
I think it's going to be cool. Whatever.
That'd be neat. I can't wait. We also have a gray Hulk and Wolverine maquette announced. That was another one that obviously they've done that before, that combo, but obviously we're going to get a new one.
Did they say we're getting a new one, or they're just going to paint the old one?
Oh, I assumed new.
I would assume that too. If they would, I mean, that thing came out like 4 or 5 years ago now. To just repaint it would be
yeah, I think this will be new.
Not the greatest thing in the world.
Also, Luke Skywalker, a premium format figure that was teased. We've obviously seen kind of like the sketch. It's where he's coming out of the X-Wing, which I think will be a really popular piece.
Yep.
I love the way that looks. So I can't wait to see it.
Anything Star Wars.
This one really kind of puzzled me a little bit. A Peacemaker Eat Peace statue. I would assume this is going to be a movie, John Cena a piece. What do you guys think?
Well, there's a second season coming out.
Yeah.
So everyone seems surprised by this one. I'm not really surprised by it. The first season was very successful.
Yeah.
There's a second season coming out, so why not do a statue?
Very, like my wife just said the other day. She's like, I loved that show. Like she really liked Peacemaker. She thought it was really funny.
It was.
So she's excited to see the new season. Also, this one says statue. It doesn't say premium format.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with this one.
Especially, it would really, ever since they did that Berserker Wolverine in that weird, between 1/3 and 1/2 or whatever the hell it is, or between 1/4 and 1/3, when they say statue, it could mean anything.
It literally could mean anything at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is no rhyme or reason anymore, it's kind of fun. This one got a lot of interest, obviously, a lot of love for Marvel so far. Bishop premium format. This is one that they've never, ever done. So I think obviously X-Men fans are going to be very excited to add a new character.
It was a smart move.
Very smart. Very, very smart. So that's really exciting. We got Bishop coming. Also an Aquaman mythos as well. This one also said statue. So again, I'm assuming 5th scale, but who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? But it's got a lot of really cool, creepy looking things going on here. So got tentacles and maybe a seahorse going on. I can't tell. We'll see. Also a Beast, another X-Men piece, a Beast premium format, which again, they've never done. I believe XM Studios has done one. And that's probably it, right?
Yep.
There's some customs, but
customs. Another X-Man, which is very exciting. Also a Cad Bane premium format. I know this one got a lot of excitement. I love this character. I think he's very cool looking. And I think this one will be a very big seller for Sideshow. I have a feeling.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, it's awesome. We also have Dave Igo. I mean, this is Wolverine. And I just that face reminds me of him. I love that. I love this pose. Anyway, Weapon X. What do you guys think of this? I love the bubbles going up. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's very cool. It's probably going to be a big success for them, I would think.
And
it's about the price.
Yeah, the price will be interesting. It would be kind of cool if they did like some sort of like glass dome around him. I don't know if they could do that.
What I was thinking is he's just look like he's suspended, or is there actually something around them? I'm assuming it's just going to be like this. Like it looks like he's suspended, but
but you could put something around him if you got creative with some plexiglass or something. But I think a lot of people will probably end up doing that just because it would look even cooler. I love it. I love this.
Yeah, the bubble effect is impressive.
Yeah, it's neat. I think this one will be really popular for them too. Obviously, again, a lot of love for Marvel this year. Also they announced some art and things like that. They're going to do a Boba Fett. This is by Jason Edmondson, he's fantastic. And so that'll be really cool to see some of the art that they show us as well. Boom, look at this guy.
Magneto.
This is going to be sculpted or was sculpted by Daniel Bell. You had a nice big weekend with Martine Canale down in Collector Zone. I want to give a shout out to all those guys. It looked like a really fun time. Shout out to Marcos. But anyway, what do you guys think about this one?
Looks awesome. One of his favorite pieces he's ever done was a custom Magneto when he first started, which is still amazing till this day.
Kind of come full circle.
Yeah. Yep.
I think it's awesome. It's going to sell really well. I'm not sure that Magneto as a character needs to hit leg day quite that hard. His powers are magnetic. He doesn't really need to have phenomenally muscular legs like a bodybuilder.
Hey, the dude's been doing squats
But that's something Daniel Bell's been doing lately with this and Green Lantern. And my personal choice would be to ease up a bit on that.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I didn't really realize that until you said it, but yeah, he's thick.
Yeah.
I like the base of the twisted metal. I think that's fun. Obviously, the floating look, which has been done before, but I still think it looks great. The colors look fantastic. Yeah, this one will do very well for Sideshow.
My only concern about this one, and this is something that I have a concern with Sideshow over several of their pieces this year, the depth on this is nuts. It's like 22 inches or something like that.
Wow. And it's also another tall piece, right?
I think it's only like 25 inches or 25 plus inches, but the depth is, that's a real problem for people.
Yeah, the sculpted cape.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, I had not seen the dimensions yet on the depth, so thank you for sharing that with us.
Mm-hmm.
This was just another kind of teaser that they did. I think this one actually came out early because Magneto was today's tease.
The portrait looks great.
Yeah, I love it. It's really well done. Yeah, this one will do very well. New Court of the Dead also. So a lot of people are excited about this because it's been kind of a minute since Sideshow's done any of these pieces from this line. This is a premium format figure, and this is what she looks like.
I think I'm screwed on this one.
This looks like a potential Sanctuary piece to me. I've
never bought a Court of the Dead piece, but I think this one is irresistible.
My first thought, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I bet Jeff would consider this one.
And you know what? I'm not even gonna think about buying any other Court of the Dead pieces. I'm just gonna put her with Red Sonja and Rebel Terminator. Just have like a badass female shelf of those three characters.
Yeah, I think that would look great.
Yeah, and that base on this one is freaking cool.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of pictures, and then when I went to go find it today, I couldn't find it. So I apologize.
You can find it in our private chat.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
I sent it to you guys the other day.
Oh, there you go. These are all X-Men art prints that they're going to do. They're each individual prints. But this gives you an idea of how great they would look. Could you imagine all of these like up on your wall like this framed?
That would look really cool.
I thought it was just all of them together.
All by the same artist.
Yeah, they're all by the same. No, it's all separate. They're all separate prints.
Yeah.
And so I'm talking to you, Tim. I don't know if you're watching, but I thought of you whenever I saw this. It looks great. This was shown by Darkside Collectible Studio. This is again, they've shipped some of the Catwoman, but only overseas. And this is going to be a life-size bust.
It's more than a bust.
Well, yeah, it's a full torso.
I've been calling it most of Michelle.
Yeah. I think probably Jeff and I have seen this one for about a year ago?
Long time ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time ago. But I think this one could be a lot of fun. It's just a matter of can they get it shipped out to people,
and price.
And price. And again, I feel like in having some conversations with Darkside, I know that they've had some frustrations, just like Chad has had with factory priority, so to speak. Yep. Some companies get priority in the factory, so other companies have to kind of take a back seat. And I think that's what's happened with Darkside from time to time.
Yep.
Which again has led to delays. But this looks really good to me.
Yeah, I like that name.
Yeah, depending on price, I think this one might be very popular.
Can I answer 3 lightning questions real quick from the chat?
Yeah, we're gonna look at you and cows while we're doing it.
Okay. So yes, whoever asked, MegaCon is a great convention for comics. Theodore, I have not yet picked up any of the Vixens, but I'm thinking about it. I love them. I just have to find the space for them. And the third question was, is the LBS Hulk really awesome? Someone was thinking about picking it up. Yes, it's really awesome. So I would grab it while you can. There's still some out there, but I don't think it's going to be out there for much longer.
I have question number 4 for you.
Yeah.
What is the percentage of likelihood getting you out to MegaCon?
Pretty slim, to be honest.
Oh, come on.
The problem is it'd be great to be with you guys, but your priorities are totally different than mine at that convention. I don't care about Artist Alley. I just don't. So, we'd be going and then I'd just be leaving you guys anyway to do the stuff I want to do. So it's not like we'd be together anyway.
Well, let's see. What if we prioritize timing? So we do this at this time.
You like panels. So if they have panels, I'm interested in panels. So is Chris.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet we could divide our time, and then again, we're gonna do Disney that last day.
Well, we can chat about it.
Okay, we'll keep chatting. If we get, I want to get it up to 50%.
You might discover a new passion of walking around looking at artists.
Or maybe a new passion for cows.
I was gonna say, where was this at?
So this was in Germany. We were in a little town called Dexendorf, staying at a B&B. And it was pretty funny. All of these cows are wearing bells. And so you can hear them in the morning when they're going out to pasture. You just hear this, like, it's almost like music because there's so many of them. And there's just these bells ringing at 6 o'clock in the morning.
That's cool.
And it was really fun because it's not a tourist town at all. So you got to see what a real small German village, what life is like. It was pretty neat. Germany's in a very interesting place. It's mostly farmland. And then there's just these really cool little villages sprinkled around. We didn't go to big cities. We didn't go to Berlin. We didn't go to Munich. We went to a place called Rothenburg, which you haven't heard of it, is a medieval walled city. And all the buildings are from like the 14th, 15th century. And
awesome.
It looks like what Disneyland tries to look like.
Oh yeah, the Fantasyland. Yeah.
And it's just outdoor cafes and glockenspiel clocks and just a really amazing place to visit.
That's awesome. Well, it looks like my backyard.
There you go.
Yes, yeah. It looks very much like Kansas, but that's really cool. I'm just so glad you had a good time.
It was fun.
Here are some in-hand photos of that Dark Side Catwoman that we saw. We saw some initial photos that obviously did not look that great. These are much better.
Yep.
So again, these are starting to ship out. Some people obviously are comparing it to other companies, but I think there's a place for all of these.
And you can get this in quarter scale.
Yes, and quarter scale and third scale too. That's right.
So
Michelle Pfeiffer hand.
A lot of Michelle Pfeiffer statues these days.
Yes, there are.
We can't keep up with all.
But there's the unmasked portrait.
It looks good there.
I was going to say, I think so too. I mean, again, I think people just need to get it in hand.
Well, Dark Side has to do a better job of photographing their pieces as well.
Yes, they sure do. Yeah, that's just collecting 101.
Yeah.
But I think that looks good right there.
I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, no one else is even trying to do an unmasked.
No.
Is that
so? I think they definitely captured her.
Mm-hmm.
Is that she was only glossy up top? I never noticed that.
On her, yeah. The bodice or whatever that is not glossy.
Oh, I never noticed that. All right.
So I don't know if that's accurate or not. I have to go back and look. I'm assuming it is. But I don't know. But that's It's flat on the.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and look at stills. I don't even know. Anyway, it's great to see some in-hand photos that are really decent.
Yep.
That looks great right there. I love her fingers. Wish she's getting ready to scratch. But yeah, looks good to me.
Yeah, I like it.
This is a new piece from PCS. This is the Gladiator. There's two different versions. There's like the regular right here. But what do you guys think of the likeness?
I think it's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I do too.
It's one of their better efforts.
Yeah, Ant should be really proud of this one.
Hopefully he'll have it next week in San Diego. And he probably will.
I would assume he will. They do have a booth.
Yeah.
As does Iron Studios, although Iron Studios might be quite a bit smaller if I'm looking at the map right.
It's certainly in a different location.
Yeah, they've been kind of back in the back corner, and this year, I mean, it just looks like maybe a smaller representation. I know Queen Studios is going to have not statues represented, but they might have a couple of 6-scale pieces. Oh,
they're having a whole event at a nearby hotel, an in-art event.
Oh, are they?
On Friday night.
Oh, I haven't even seen them produce, or have they been publicizing that at all?
They sent out an email where you can sign up for it.
Oh, I know John. John reached out to me and asked if I was going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But
I was saying, it's pretty cool the different licenses they're getting. They're doing something completely different that no other company is doing. So
yep. Cool. Which again, I think is smart.
Yeah.
Give people stuff that's not out there. Right? Again, I think that likeness is really great. And then there is the the swap out with the mask.
Right.
We've got the Coliseum base, which is fun. And then I thought this was interesting. It's real sand.
Is it a kitty litter box?
It's like, I'm assuming there'll be this like sculpted sand, and then you can put real sand on top of it to make it look more realistic. But I thought that was kind of fun. Real sand.
How do you dust that? Don't use the electric.
Yeah, don't sneeze. But this is kind of like their exclusive, their platinum exclusive that comes with the mask, and then also the shield as well. So if you're interested, I don't know if that's already up for pre-order, but it goes up for pre-order soon. If not,
it's tomorrow. Excuse me, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. Easy for you to say.
Yeah. I came back with a cold.
That's right. Oh yeah. Well, not fun.
Yeah.
So these are some in-hand photos, or not in-hand, but factory photos that Chad was talking about. So these are old at this point because they already are on a boat. But you could see that these are the, I think these are the 6 scale.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of cool to see them all in the factory like this.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of neat to see how the process works. Again, I really like that idea that Chad said about maybe documenting the whole process.
We talked about that years ago with Hot Girl, and that didn't work out. I think it'd be fun to do it with the Solomon Grundy bus, since fans voted for that one. Let's see the whole process.
Oh, it's a great idea. I'll run that by him. I think that's a great idea. But we have He-Man bust. We got the pieces of the Batman right here. There's the He-Man bust, I believe, the base. But again, it's just really cool to see. Look at that.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. He-Man with no hair. Batman pieces as well. Just cool. This one was since our last show, this one was revealed. We haven't had a chance really to talk about this one, but this is the Legendary Beast. Has a kind of a one-off piece, a very special agreement with DC to make this one. This is a 1/3 scale Batman diorama animated series. What is your take on this, guys? Do you like this one?
I do.
It's grown on me more and more. I originally didn't like that the Joker was larger. It was kind of distracting me. Now I kind of like it. And then I don't know. I didn't really see a need for there to be like a 1/3 animated series, but it seems to be very popular. People want something like that because when you upscale that large, the animated series doesn't have like a lot of detail to it. It's just very simple and plain. So
actually, I had a conversation with Jay about that because that was also a concern of mine of blowing this up. I thought, well, this would maybe make a better 1/4 scale or better, 5th scale or something. And he said that they're going to, spruce it up for sure, use, with texture and things like that, like Legendary Beast has done. So it will not just be smooth. But
I think it's cool that you can represent the entire series in your display with one piece. I agree. Great.
I like that too. I think that's a lot of fun, and you don't have to. Again, that's why I asked him. He says just a one-off piece. So this is going to be kind of a one and done. So if you're wanting something like this, I would go for it because I don't know if anybody else is going to do anything like it again.
Is this something you would get?
Yes, I really love it. I just don't know for sure how it would pair up next to like a comic book piece, Yeah. So I really do want to see more. I want to see it printed.
Well, that's oh, sorry to cut you off. That's what I'm going back to think. I'm thinking when Sideshow did the 1/4 scale, or maybe they were like 5th scale animated.
Fifth.
And they were really cool. They were actually bulkier than like a normal 1/4 or 5th scale piece. But as far as like the surface goes, it was just very simple because it's animated based. It's not like you're not getting those tons of little details everywhere.
Yeah. So I think texture and paint is going to be really important on this. I'm just curious as to what I would even take a grayscale like this.
Yeah, I like it like that. Yeah.
And I hope the building windows and the dirigibles are going to light up.
That would be so cool.
That would really look sharp.
Yeah, I would love to see that happen. So anyway, I don't know when that'll go up for pre-order, but it's still very cool to see.
It's great.
I thought this was kind of an interesting art print. Sideshow's offering right now, limited edition. But if you like the Rogues Gallery, like I do, it's kind of a fun piece.
Joker's hair kind of looks like a beard on Batman.
It does.
It's the man's Rogue Gallery. Somebody pointed out that there's no females on it.
Ivy.
Oh, is Ivy?
Yeah, Ivy's right there. Red's got Black Mask. Got even Professor Pig. So it's got some really cool monster villains on here. I thought was really cool. Not really my style, but I still think it's neat.
Yep.
Had to give a shout out to Matt Martin, who couldn't join us tonight, but this is a new cover that's out. But Matt actually right here, this is the original.
Wow.
Matt actually owns it. So I thought that's so cool.
I thought that was a print.
Yeah, it's just so neat.
Who's the artist?
I can't not remember. I'll try to get it to you.
Okay.
But it's so good.
It's awesome.
It's just an awesome cover. I just threw this in here because I had some new pieces from Finch. If you hadn't seen it, but this is just look how great that is. Ventriloquist. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of new Liebermejo pieces as well. Batman and Joker all framed up this week.
Those look great.
Yeah, you lucked out on those.
I sure did. These are some factory pictures of them working on Scarecrow, which, again, I'm confused because they had shipped a bunch of them, and a lot of people don't have them still, so.
This thing's still around.
I don't know.
XM, man.
I don't
What
know.
the hell?
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know how old these photos are, but they were posting them recently. I'm like, okay, well, I don't understand. This one, the Batman Rebirth, is now for pre-order at Prime 1.
Wait a minute. Let's go back to XM for a second.
Yeah.
Have they done anything in the last year and a half that we've been interested in at all?
Not me personally, no. The stuff that they did with the Dark Knight's Metal, I really did like the Robin King. I thought that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
That one is still kind of MIA right now, along with the rest of those. They also then teased the lineup with Batman and Superman with like kind of like the space bases. I didn't really care for those.
Oh yeah.
The last big thing they did was Maestro.
That seems like a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago too. And it's like you're right. Like they're releasing all these updated, factory photos, but who knows when they took the photos? They could have taken these photos 3 years ago, for all I know.
To me, it's one of those things where I believe that they are truly trying to get back on track, but I just feel like it's going to take a really long time.
Man,
And
they're so far behind. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's kind of like Queen Studios. I feel like there's been a lot of quiet from Queen. I think they're trying to also get kind of caught up with everything they announced.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like XM's kind of in that same boat where I'm kind of glad they're not announcing a ton because that's only going to piss people off even more. Because some of these pieces are like well overdue, and I know from tons of collectors that have contacted me that they've canceled, just because they're tired of waiting.
Yeah,
and they just don't care about the piece anymore. It's been too long.
Right.
Speaking about pieces, I haven't heard of a ton of people that love this one. I think a lot of people are holding out for that Hush quarter scale that Prime 1 did promise summer, but we're kind of running out of summer now.
Yeah, I really like this, but it's going to be a huge space eater. I think it's going to be similar to like how New 52 was, to where it's just it darts off in so many different directions. I think it's just going to be between the depth and the width. It's just going to be an odd piece to try to fit somewhere.
I do like it. I just feel like there's maybe better pieces out there.
I love it. I love the concept. I still don't love like how that angel's like shooting off into the other direction, but it's pretty cool overall. I mean, if I was collecting quarter scale, I would buy it.
Okay. This is a image from StatueCon. This is a piece. I can't remember. Is it half scale?
Yeah.
I think this looks really good in person here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this next week.
Looks a lot better than the prototype.
Yeah.
I think they did I just think that they did such a smart move of updating the sculpt. But I think that's really fun. Looks really good.
Yep.
Again, there was a lot of photos from StatueCon this week. So again, congratulations to everybody that got to go.
You know what I've been noticing lately a lot on statues? Eyebrows. It's really hard to get eyebrows that look natural and lifelike. I mean, that almost looks like rope.
It does look like rope.
You know, so I don't know. That's one of those little details that I've been looking at lately.
Well, especially when you blow it up to half scale like this.
Yeah.
You know, it makes it even harder.
Right.
Speaking of PCS, this I think went up for pre-order. This is like the bronze version of what we saw in San Diego last year.
Yeah.
Do you remember the price on this? Like, wasn't it kind of nuts?
Yeah, I want to say, was it 15K?
Yeah, something like that. It was really crazy. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can call that beautiful, but it's I like it.
Yeah, it's different. I like it too.
But yeah, the price was surprising to me.
And he said he was going to do like a few of these in the series, like all different characters and stuff.
Right.
It's cool. I mean, there's no question the art is really neat, really impressive. There's a lot going on. I liked it in person. I thought it was really cool. Again, the kind of a, I don't know. It's not, what would you call that? Like a patina? It's not a marble or a,
What do you call it? Like jade?
yeah, jade. I think that's right. Kind of like a jade.
It's like a mixture. Yeah, those
Yeah.
would be jade, and then he's kind of
cool.
like bronzed.
Yeah. But the colors are cool, actually. I kind of like the yellows and gold and greens.
Yeah, I like it like that. I like the color on this one.
New quarter scale announced from Iron Studios, little indie.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this one too. The likeness isn't bad.
It's not bad. I feel like they could tweak it a little bit more. Harrison Ford is very difficult to get right.
Yeah.
Very, very few companies have done a good job with it. But I feel like if they just tweaked it just slightly, I think the pose is really fun. I think he's got a really nice size to it.
Yeah.
I feel like the guy in the background stands out more than the statue. He's just like the lights like all on him. I can't even see.
Right, but yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more. Hopefully we get some good video from Jeff next week on that.
I hope so too.
Yeah. Also a new quarter scale Gambit as well.
That's cool.
With maybe a light up. I'm not sure. It looks like maybe a light up feature.
Yeah, that's
cool. So haven't seen much about that one, but looks not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Again, that's 20 inches deep.
That one, 20 inches? Wow.
That's what it says.
Wow, crazy.
Bow staff, right?
Yeah. 10 scale Catwoman to go along with the other art germ pieces. So yeah, I think they've shown all three now.
Okay.
A couple different bases. There's a larger deluxe base and then just like kind of a simplified base with the safe. Also, the Iron Studios is doing a lot of great Disney stuff. Really fun. And these are now being sold in the Disney parks as well.
That's cool.
In certain locations.
I'll be there in a couple of weeks.
Ah, jealous.
Me too.
Well, it's my birthday, man.
I'll be in
Well,
Florida.
you got to do it now that you're retired.
That's right.
Try it. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Damn right.
Yeah, darn right.
I got about 3 weeks.
You go to Disneyland or World?
Land. I always forget.
Oh, you're going to go to California?
No, I'm going to Florida.
Oh, yeah. So you're going to Magic Kingdom?
Yes.
Yeah. This one's fun.
I was confused too. Which California's Disney World?
Disneyland is California.
Okay, I was confused the two.
Disney World is Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
Ghostface. This one, I thought a lot of the comments were interesting because this one's pretty pricey. And they're like, well, we're paying for a mask and a robe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of true.
It is true.
So I like the pose, though. I like that he's pulling the knife out. And obviously there's different masks that you can do, which I think is fun from all the different mask movies.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty pricey. This was one that was shown today. This is a 6-scale hologram. So it's not really a figure, but it is a light up, which I thought was kind of cool. Looks good. I mean, the effect on it really looks like a hologram.
Yeah.
It's cool, and you can it's light up. You could that's what it looks like not lit up, but I think that even looks pretty cool. Something different.
It's funny because if that was a 3D print, people would be complaining about the layer lines all
Yeah,
over.
I was gonna say they sure would.
Anytime a bad print comes out, it just turn into a hologram.
Yep, that's right. But I thought that was pretty cool. And then they also had a clone commander Scorch as well. So all of these are, I think, going up for pre-order this week. But if you're a Star Wars fan, you might be interested in this one.
I like it.
Turned out fun. And then we also this one made some a lot of commotion about this one today. Kind of a specialized Joker with that suit. Which there's actually a really great cosplayer that Jeff and I saw at San Diego. That was this exact look. Like he had this exact same suit. I mean, I don't. It's almost like they took the idea from the cosplayers.
they owe him some money.
Yeah, they do. But this one's kind of fun with the tattered cape and got the bombs inside the cape. So it's fun. I mean, they just basically took all the parts of the other figures they've made and stuck them together.
Right.
That's still fun. Something different.
Mm-hmm.
I think the likeness looks good. I don't know if it's a new sculpt or just one they've used before. I'm assuming it is one they've used before. But it does have wool hair.
Right.
Wool hair, yeah. Is what they said. Wool. Looks good. Also a new Deadpool 6 scale as well.
I'm excited for this. Not the statue, the movie.
Yeah, I'm excited about the movie. I think this is just a figure.
So they announced the Ultimate Wolverine Deadpool event in Hall H at Comic-Con.
Yes.
On Thursday night, I think. And for the first time ever that I'm aware of, you can reserve a spot. It's like put everybody's name in a hat and,
So there's no line?
There's no line. You can either you get selected or you don't, but you're going to know ahead of time whether you get in.
That's crazy different.
And the way that they're describing this thing, I think they're going to be there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So,
I know I think they're going to be there. I know the whole cast of the boys are going to be there.
Yeah.
There's going to be some really big panels.
It should be a fun year.
Yeah. Some of the different looks for this one, but yeah, I'm excited for this movie. I hope it's really good. I hope it kind of restarts things up again.
Yeah.
Which kind of I've heard it kind of does. So.
Well, the advanced ticket sales are crazy.
Yeah. So that's fun, and then obviously they've already announced the Wolverine as well. Oop, had one out of order there. Sorry about that. This one from Prime 1 is up for pre-order now. I think this one is, close to the $2,000 mark for this one, I think. Maybe $1,700.
It's pretty cool.
It is cool.
It's pretty expensive.
Yeah, it's there's a big fan base for this stuff.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
For sure. So anyway, that's up for pre-order. Threw in some art prints. This was from Bottleneck, which I thought all of these were a lot of fun.
Those are cool.
I like that Two-Face.
I just think they're a lot of fun. But yeah, I think the Two-Face one's my favorite. That one's a great episode. Almost got him.
The hell is that?
That's really cool. I haven't seen this before.
I don't know who makes this. I am assuming it is licensed. I couldn't find. It just says Force Laboratory, but I feel like this might be somebody. This was always one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
Growing up, I love the Gamorrean Guard, and so I just this is so cool. It's life size. It reminds me of the company. I don't know if it is the company that's.
CC says not licensed.
Oh crap! Well.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah, we're live. Whatever. even the BSC makes mistakes sometimes, but it's
Disney,
still cool.
We apologize.
Yep, we do apologize, Disney.
It's the top guy's fault.
That's right.
Yeah.
I threw in some photos of this because we got kind of a wind-swept hair. Keep kicking around the idea since I moved the movie stuff back in the middle if I should get this one.
I like this one still.
I still think it's cool, but I don't know if it's $5,000 cool.
No.
No.
But I think the hair looked fairly good on this one. I've seen some really crappy ones where obviously they've done some work. I threw this in. Somebody posted this. This is my Joker. This is the one I just got that I just showed you earlier. It's the exact same one.
Oh wow!
Somebody tattooed it on their hand. That's really cool. We're gonna wrap up here with the Beast Kingdom. They're doing some life-size characters that they've been promoting this week. We got Wolverine, which is quite large.
Yeah.
I'm not
It
sure
better
if I
be
see.
13 grand.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if I see Hugh Jackman in that, but the Deadpool one's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So nothing I would want to add to my collection, but still cool.
Very cool.
All right, it's supper time for Delaney.
I think so.
Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. I am getting ready to head down to Texas tomorrow. We're going to be on a 7-day cruise, so I'm going to miss the entire San Diego Comic-Con and Sideshow Con. But
where does the cruise go to?
We're going to go to Honduras. We're going to Roatan.
Wow.
And we're going to hold sloths. That's one of the things. We're going to go to a sloth sanctuary and hold sloths. And it's like a dolphin, swim with dolphins thing too. We're going to Cozumel. We're going to go to a kind of like an all-inclusive place. We've actually been there before. I am not a giant drinker at all. Like I have beer and occasional margarita every once in a while. But the last time we were there, like they would bring you like 6 margaritas and then 20 seconds later they would bring you 20 more. And it's just like, you can't, you can't compete with what they bring you. So it's a lot of fun. And they have like a buffet and stuff and just a beach and stuff. So we're going to do that. And then the other place we're going is, another island. I can't remember which one, but we're just going to stay on the ship that day. We're not going to get off on that. There's not a lot to do. I think it's one of the places where like Saint something, but they have like a ruin. That's kind of like the only thing they have there. So
is it going to be hotter than hell?
Probably, I'm guessing. But they have a roller coaster on this ship, which is pretty cool. And slides, and so it's one of their brand new ships. So we're excited, and I'm just hoping for smooth sailing. My wife and son gets motion sick, so they're going to be patching up and.
Right.
But anyway, so we're going to head down there, and so we did opt for the deluxe internet package, but still it sucks on a cruise. So we'll see. Hopefully, I can see all the con footage because I can't wait to see everything. So.
Right. Yeah, despite all the the logos that we've been seeing, I think this is probably maybe my favorite Sideshow Con. As far as announcements go,
the output's been amazing.
When we first heard, I think all of us for like 30 days of like, what are they smoking? But I think it's been real smart, actually. Especially knowing the promise of, hey, what they've teased us, we're actually going to see. And I think taking 3 weeks to drum up excitement has been a lot of fun. A daily drop. Yeah. So I think Sideshow's onto something. I applaud them for what they're doing. Again, I just think it's really smart business. And like Eric said, I think it's really one of the most fun ones I can remember in a long time. Obviously, we would love to see it in a real booth at San Diego.
Yeah.
But
some days 2 or 3 pieces.
Yeah, it's really neat. I hope you have a great time at San Diego. I wish I could be there. I had such a great time the last 2 years, but hopefully we'll be able to get to do it again. That's why I want you to come out to Florida, because I think we'd have a lot of fun, and I think we can make it work. For sure. So anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Eric, do you have anything coming out soon?
Yeah, I'm doing I have a new video for tomorrow. About adding magnets to statues.
Cool. Cool. That's awesome. Well, have a great night. Enjoy your dinner, Jeff. And we'll see you guys. Thanks again to Chad for coming on. Appreciate that. And we'll see you guys all in the back. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Okay. 2 weeks, guys. We'll be back. Bye-bye.
Guys.
Take care.
Bye.